What's up, everybody? We're back to Steel Sharpens Steel. This is going to be episode number, what are we on?
4.
Jeez.
Yes.
Can you believe
how
that?
time flies?
I love it. I love it.
Man.
This is such a big accomplishment for us. I'm so happy, and we're happy that you guys are joining in, listening, and checking us out, and subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
And give us a follow.
Push that button.
Yeah. So last time we left off on regards to consequences of emasculation. Remember that?
Yeah.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about communication and how you can use communication to. You actually discuss Fanos, which is a way of communicating with other people.
Oh, yeah. And that was new. I didn't know anything about it till you mentioned it.
What was it again? F stands for feelings.
For feelings. F for feeling. Share with your partners your feelings.
Yeah.
Make a list of them. And then the A is affirm your partner, meaning that, hey, acknowledge that your partner, that there's something that they've done, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
An affirmation could be less like, hey, look, I'm just saying that, don't tell your mom about what we do or your girlfriends, because I see them looking at me a certain way when we get together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then N is needs.
Needs.
What do I need? That's have important. Needs. Yes.
I feel like that's the one that most people that get into arguments is because they have a need.
Okay, explain.
All right. So say I'm leaving the house and I get frustrated because my wife doesn't say bye to my mother.
Okay.
You're being disrespectful.
Sure.
To me, right? You're being disrespectful.
Okay.
That's because my needs, right, say that I expect something from her. I'm not saying this is right. I'm just saying this is what I'm needing.
Yeah.
So then what happens is the moment we hit the door, I start being snappy.
Oh.
I start being like, hey, can you get the door? And as opposed to being like, you know what? I felt that if you would have said bye, it would have made me feel a lot better, right?
Got it.
So in other words, say why I'm frustrated versus showing that I'm frustrated.
Right.
Like,
and behaving in
like
a way, yeah, okay, that's destructive to your relationship. And then how is your wife supposed to know what you're thinking unless you express it?
That's right. That's something but for some reason, human beings, we do that a lot. We have expectations of
projection.
Yeah.
We project.
Yeah.
And we assume that other people should already know this.
Why? Why do you think we do that? Why we assume?
Because of our experiences.
Yes.
Well, everybody knows how to add 2 + 2.
Right. I'll tell you why. I think when we're kids, a lot of times we're neglected. A lot of times people have not given us, our parents haven't given us our value.
Yes.
So then we're out in the world like punishing everybody else who does it to us.
That's right.
So then
that's right.
When somebody doesn't acknowledge you or does what you need from them,
then
you automatically get angry because it reminds you of what it reminds you. It almost like reminds you that, it's not a confirmation, but you use it as a confirmation that you're not worth something.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So communication is what we're discussing today. Why is communication so important when it comes down to emasculation?
It is the foundation of what you need, what you expect, and your future goals.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I went through a rough one. I discussed a little bit in the last episode of some of my experiences. How would communication have helped me? Like maybe not have gone through some rough stuff.
Well, it sets boundaries. I am going to accept this in a relationship, and I'm not going to accept that in a relationship. If that's communicated from the very beginning, then there's an understanding, and the person acknowledges, oh, okay, I see, or I understand from hearing you that this is, I can only go so far with you.
Right.
And then they have a choice to say, I'm going to stay in the relationship or I'm not.
So sorry for interrupting, but if they don't give you that, if they don't tell you what those lines are, then what happens?
Now, what do you mean? Tell me what the lines
are. So if someone, like say you're giving them the boundaries, lines of do not cross.
Yes.
But say if that's not existent from a person to another person, you don't give them those boundaries.
Then people will set their own boundaries. Right. And then what happens is, and this is in human nature, look at how we fight over resources.
Yeah.
Different communities. This community is better than this community. Right. Or, they bus kids because over in Beverly Hills, they have better computers and all that versus over in the barrio or the ghetto.
Right.
You know what I mean? So people are always fighting for resources and respect and all these other things. So that happens in a relationship.
Yeah.
If a person does not express to you what they want, say, for instance, a woman says, oh, this guy's kind of, he's not as strong as my dad or my brother or my boyfriend in college. I used to date the quarterback at college, and now I kind of settled for this guy, and now he's kind of a wimpish, and he's always complaining, and so then they choose to take over in the relationship,
right?
Because they're not getting what they want, but they didn't express it. And then what happens is, I think, really, Dennis, what is a key factor that is neglected? People don't take time to help develop other people in the relationship. We all have strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
If I don't know how to divide, or I'm not good at calculus, or I'm not good at math, period, and I'm in a relationship, then why can't, and I have a girlfriend or a wife that's good at math, why can't they take the time to help me upgrade my math skills?
Why won't they?
Well, that's a good question, because we have what's called projection and assumptions. So people feel like, well, everybody should know how to write a sentence, but let's stick to the math.
Yeah.
Everybody should know how to balance a bank book, or everybody should know about higher levels of math, how to do it. Yeah. And so when you don't meet people's expectations, then people judge you. Oh, he's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know how to balance a spreadsheet, or I have to always speak up when it's time to pay the bills. See? But we don't look at the good qualities. We focus on the bad qualities. And a lot of times that boosts us up. Well, I'm smarter than he is.
Yeah.
Or I've always got to do the balancing of the books. See?
I wanted to touch the topic because in part of this communication, it came from the emasculation, right?
Right.
Of men. This can also happen in a job setting.
Ooh.
Right. If you have a boss who's alpha,
yes,
and opposite genders, right? It happens. But here's the thing: is it can happen. What's the opposite when you can emasculate a man, but you can also, what happens to a woman when you take?
Same thing. Emasculation can happen in a male or female.
So it's emasculation. So
you're taking that power away from them.
So this happens to women all the time too. When you have a male boss who's,
oh sure.
But this can also be the other way, where you can have a female boss who emasculates her employees.
Absolutely.
And you're pretty trapped in that case, because you have to stand up for yourself and possibly lose your job.
That's right.
If you stand up for yourself.
But that's a choice. Once again, everybody, whether you're being emasculated or you are the emasculator, you have choices. There's nobody forcing you to do anything.
You don't think people who emasculate are happy?
No, they're not happy. Okay. You don't go home and kick your dog unless you hate it, unless you hate yourself. Human beings treat people the way that they feel about themselves.
That's true. That's just in general, right?
Yeah.
So if you're emasculating somebody, it's because you have a gap. It's really a defense mechanism at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, people are being defensive
against insecurities.
Yeah, because of what happened to them in the past.
Yeah.
But people are literally trapped. All right, so I'll give you my example. Like I was trapped. I was trapped for two reasons, and here's another thing: is that I define the emasculation actually almost like an act of love. And the reason why I say that is because I had this issue of like, I haven't had the right people stand up for me.
Okay.
The people who should have stood up for me didn't.
Got it.
And so that sent a very like direct message to who I am as a person. It made me feel like I'm not worth anything. So when you find someone who will stand up for you and give you a sense of like you're worth something, but at the same time, they have their own issues and they're abusive.
Yes.
You will see that as you will almost be like, I will take you standing up for me. So I love you, Fred.
Sure.
And I will ignore all this other stuff.
Right.
Because for once, somebody actually stood up for me. Right.
Right.
So it's one of those things where I feel that if what was I going with this? That if you don't identify the gap within yourself,
yes,
you will find someone who will fill that gap.
That's right.
Their own.
That's right. And then what happens is you'll compromise,
right,
in a bad way.
In a bad way, yeah.
This person loves me, even though they're pushing me around or slapping me, right, hollering at me in front of my friends.
Mm-hmm. It happens to women all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're not giving themselves worth, but they're also scared, which I think should be our next topic. Is I want to talk about how human beings are walking through the earth scared.
Yes.
And they don't know that they're scared.
Yes.
They don't know. It's almost like the North Korean syndrome with these people are under a regime.
Yeah.
But they're scared for their lives. So they go, oh, yes, master. Yes. We'll do whatever. Oh, you're beautiful. Oh, yeah, we'll put posters of you. They're just like completely like, please don't kill me.
Yes. Right. And then behind closed doors, who can they trust?
Yeah, I can't trust anybody.
With their feelings. And then getting back to, like you were saying, these women being emasculated. I mean, just look at the women with this big scandal at Sony and all these different producers, these male producers of films, to having these women just do whatever they want. Yeah. If you want to get in this film, you need to do this, this, and that. But the thing that made a lot of these women feel powerless is nobody believed them.
Nobody believed them.
Nobody believed them for years.
Yeah.
And even when it came down to domestic violence, the husband would beat up the wife years back in the days and 20, 30 years ago. And the police would come by and tell the man, hey, come on, calm down, take it easy. And put him right back in that situation. And the woman was, who's there to stand up for her?
Right.
Like you said, how it made you feel. Yeah. It's like, nah, I'm not worth anything.
So I think that the bottom line here is it's really not pointing fingers at either male or female. It's pointing finger towards a problem of lack of balance.
Yes.
We're not balancing each other, and we're not balancing each other because we don't know how to balance each other out.
Right.
And so we're literally, this is a syndrome. Like we are broken children or hurt children being adults, pretty much like hurting other people at the same time because we're scared.
Yes.
So let's let that be our next topic.
Let's do that. Being scared. Fear.
How does fear?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. How does it shape how you interact with your relationships?
Yes. And then most people don't want to be identified as scary or being scared or fearful.
Right. No, because it's almost like a weakness, right?
Exactly.
You won't do that.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. So we'll come back. You're live on
Steel Sharpens Steel.
We're on number 4 already. So thank God for this opportunity.
Man, time flies.
That's right. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.